Alright guys, what is up? LD7 here, and today we are going to be taking a look at Avorion. So this is a space simulator type game. You build ships, gather resources, interact with various alien factions, you can trade, and all of these things are used to take out a boss at the end of the game. The progression is broken into two pieces. The first major step is to get past what's called the barrier. It's basically a rift in space-time that your ships and no other ships can jump through. And there's a bunch of quests and things you have to do in order to overcome the barrier or jump across it. But you want to do that because it unlocks the late game technologies and materials, so it's worth doing for that reason alone. And then you can also work towards the second progression goal, or the end game, which is taking on the final boss, which I believe is called the AI, if I'm not mistaken. So that the point of the game is build a ship good enough to be able to defeat the AI, and there's a bunch of tools given to you to basically reach that goal. So in this series, the aim is kind of to play through and see if we can't beat the AI. And while we, work towards that goal, we're going to cover, how to build ships, what some strategies could be as far as gathering the materials, turrets, systems, and all of the credits, basically everything you're going to need to buy items or the currencies in the game. They're broken down into kind of there's three major portions, I guess. So you've got credits or money, in-game money only, and then you've got your materials, so like iron, titanium, things like that. That's what you actually build the ships out of. And then the third major category would be upgrades, is what I like to call it. So upgrades has some subcategories. Those are going to be systems, which make your ship better with a direct upgrade. You've got mining turrets, which allow you to mine, salvaging turrets, which allow you to harvest blocks from destroyed ships, and then finally would be combat turrets, which allow you to kind of, attack other ships and defeat them. So there's other aspects too that you can add to your ships to make them better and more capable and do some pretty cool stuff. We'll cover that as we get to it. First things first, I kind of wanted to go over the collision damage and difficulty. So a lot of these space simulator games don't even touch collision damage. What collision damage is if you crash your ship into, another ship or an asteroid or whatever it may be, it will actually destroy blocks on your ship, and the amount of damage done is proportional to your speed and, the size of your ship versus the size of the object, things like that. So that's pretty cool. If you have it set to full, let me just tell you, it's going to be an adjustment, most likely, to get used to playing, just because every time you move, you want to make sure you slow down fast enough so you don't run into whatever you're moving towards. Otherwise, you will destroy part of your ship and have to repair it, and it just gets annoying. So it's recommended, start with half collision damage and then slowly work your way towards full. On my first playthrough, I did it with none. I ultimately turned it down to none from 0.25 just because it was annoying, and basically I was spending more time repairing my ship because I didn't slow down fast enough as opposed to actually playing the game. So I thought it was more fun playing on none versus full. That's just me though. The idea is to play on full. That way it's a realistic environment that you're playing in. The game basically serves to try to make spaceflight and all that very realistic. So we'll cover how it does that in a minute. But let's look at the difficulty. So for normal difficulty, normal enemies, fair damage. Torpedoes have slightly reduced speed. No parts of your ships break off when you have over 40% health. You have slightly better standings with all the factions you meet. You get a reconstruction token, so basically if your entire ship gets destroyed, that reconstruction token will rebuild it for free, and you get a crew of 8 for all new ships. So that's actually pretty good. So if it's your first time, normal is a great place to start. Veteran, basically what it does is it makes the enemy ships equal to yours, and then it makes the player factions that you encounter, not starting at a higher likelihood of liking you or whatever. Like, they don't like you immediately as often. And then each difficulty below that makes the pirates harder and decreases how much the other factions like you. So we're going to play on normal, and I'm going to start off with no collision damage. Well, we'll start with full collision damage just so you can see what it is. We'll build a ship and like crash it so you can see how it could be annoying. And then we'll probably switch it to none just so we can focus on the actual content within the game and not necessarily this collision damage mechanic. That way we'll cover it, but it's not going to be the focus. So let's go ahead and load in. It's going to give us this nifty looking loading screen with a ship on it, and a little in-game tip. So this is talking about collision damage, kind of fits. If you don't want the hassle, adjust it. So you can turn that on and off. It's cool that it's an option, I must say. Like, I'm glad that it's an option because if you want to have a really realistic play style or experience while you're playing, I guess maybe a better way to phrase it, full collision damage provides that, because in real life, if you were to crash your ship into something, yeah, you're probably going to damage some stuff. So anyway, push space to load in, and this is kind of where you start. You've got a resource depot here, so one of your space stations. Now these are cool, you can trade with them, do all sorts of stuff, we'll cover that in a minute. And then you've got these asteroids, there's other stations around, and there's this, and you are this cool little drone guy, and he's got 2 mining lasers on it. You fire him with left mouse, and then yeah, you move around, WASD, and then spacebar fires your little afterburner so you go faster. So yeah, kind of the first thing you want to do is find one of these iron asteroids. I'm just going to close this, I don't care. And we're going to start mining it. So you may have saw my cursor appear, so I could close out that resource depot message. The way you do that, at least default setting wise, is you push or you hold the shift key, and it allows you to move your mouse freely around your vehicle. I believe if you push control, you can spin the camera around your little drone or ship, whatever, so you can get a better view without actually rotating the ship. But yeah, so just some controls. You can configure all that, obviously, to whatever your preferences may be. And if you actually play the entire tutorial, I believe it covers all the default controls for how to move around and what to do. So I would suggest, if it's your first time, take a look at the tutorial. It's pretty well made. It definitely will explain enough so you can get started in Avorion. So what we're doing here, and the reason why we want these orange asteroids and not the brown ones, is because these orange ones have iron inside of them. So as we mine it, you may notice on the lower right, that little number's ticking up, it's in brown, and that is how much iron we have collected. So we almost have 1,400 gathered, which isn't bad. Ooh, cool. We got lucky on that. I'll explain why. This is a titanium asteroid, so that's actually the tier 2 material. So when you're building ships, you need, some sort of material and some credits in order to build. So you go up to the space station once you've gathered some materials. We're gonna see if we can find another titanium asteroid, just so we can go straight to titanium, hopefully. Actually, no. There probably won't be another one. So we'll mine this iron and then we'll try to build a ship. But yeah, so that's your first step, is go find some asteroids. The brown one, or the orange ones, I guess, are iron. The white ones are titanium. You might have some pretty close by. You gather up enough materials and then you build a ship. We're almost at the end of this one though, so when we come back next time, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the shipbuilding menu and kind of cover that. So if you're enjoying the series, be sure to like, comment, subscribe as always, and until next time, we will see ya.